Review of the 2024 Missile 250. Let's go. Alright, what is up now, people? So, this is a walk-around review of the 2024 Missile 250. Alright, so for 2024, we'll start with the instrument panel, or the gauges as we would call it. Alright, so as you guys can see, the biggest addition is right here, a start stop switch. So how this works, you press and hold and it powers up the bike. So ignition, everything is on, you can touch the on, all of those things, power is running through. And to start, you press and hold. Easy, 1, 2, 3. So to shut off, you press and hold, and that is it. So over to this side, the gauges remain the same. So you have your hazard right here, and to flick off the hazard, you would flick this to the left. You have your start button right here. You have your light control. So this is the main headlight, and then you have the park light, and then lights off. You can also notice that this looks the same as this, and normally your clutch is on the left side. So the reason being is they have started to produce these bikes with the hydraulic clutch system. So make we follow the line, come down here. So this is the hydraulic clutch system that they are now producing these bikes with. So this system I honestly do not like, and for stunting, most stunters would remove this system off the bike. So basically what this system does, by my personal review, it makes the clutch feel as if it's slipping. So basically it gives the bike a bit of slow feeling, and if you're a wheelier and you're trying to wheelie with this, it's not going to feel normal. The bike is not going to feel punchy. So a lot of persons remove that. So if you take a look at the lines here, these are not rubber lines, these are steel braided lines. Alright, so steel braided lines are basically the new thing. So they are replacing rubber lines. So steel braided lines basically gives you better stopping power and longer lasting brakes. So over time, rubber lines will expand, right? And steel lines do not expand, so it keeps the pressure more, so you'll have better brakes and more consistent brake over time. Alright, up here as well, you can see that they have added a cigarette lighter. So for the smoker them, well, me take out the cigarette, me take out the something out of this, because me not use it. But you can also power, like, you know, like if you have a cigarette lighter, a pump or something like that, you can actually use it in this. So it doesn't have to be one purpose, it can be used for different purposes. On the right of that, you have your USB ports. Alright, so you have 2 ports here. I think one is fast charge and one is normal charge, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe both are fast charge, or maybe both are the same. Alright, so to the left you have your normal controls, nothing changed here. You have your high beam, low beam switch. Over here you have your indicator switch, left, right, and down here you have the horn. Alright, so that's another thing. So this bike, it arms itself after 1 minute, exactly 1 minute it arms. So if you don't unlock the bike with the key, So this is the key. So in order for you to start the bike, you have to unlock it. So you press the unlock button and then you can power up the bike. Alright. If you unlock, if you lock the bike, you will start alarming. Alright. So once the bike is locked, you cannot power up the ignition. And that's a safety feature. So moving along to the front, you have a single disc brake rotor. They have the ones with the double disc, but for this specific bike it's a single disc. And you have your big brake rotor here, gives you better stopping power. All these new bikes, well, the missiles, they come with colored rims. Alright, moving to the beast. We now move to that yet. Alright, so take a look at the rear section here. You have a single disc rotor. This rotor is a little bit different. It's a little bit bigger than the normal round disc rotor that they sell. So that's an additional thing for good stopping power. So moving on to the left side, they come with a full chain guard. And as you can see, the chain guard is really nicely decorated. Looks very good. We got the rear shock right there, nothing special about that. And that is pretty much it. So let's talk about the beast right here. This is a 250cc engine. 250 cubic centimeters is the size of the engine. Also, what's special about this engine is it's a timing chain engine. So you can tell the difference from a timing chain and a push rod based on how it looks. Timing chain has a lot of bolts in the top, in the head. A push rod only has about 4 or so bolts. Well, a lot less bolt than a timing chain then. You might ask, what's the difference between a timing chain and a push rod engine? It's kind of simple. Timing chain engines perform better over time, right? So in terms of racing and so forth, a timing chain engine would come out victorious than a push rod engine. But just to give you a rundown, timing chain engines perform a lot quicker. So if you're doing a drag race, a timing chain engine, well, it's also based on the bike, but on paper, timing chain engines would perform better. Over time, if you're doing long distance runs, timing chain engines would also perform better because it has less moving parts, which basically ensures that the bike actually perform better over time basically. So less friction, less moving parts equal less friction, give you more power output. And also in terms of durability, timing chain engines also hold up a lot more than a push rod engine. That's also because of the less moving parts. So a timing chain engine, you can redline it a bit longer than a push rod engine, right? Push rod engines, normally if you redline them for too long, a lot of times they will fly valves and pistons and all of that will get damaged. But a timing chain engine can take a lot more beating before. Not saying that it can't happen, but it can take a lot more beating before that happens. So in terms of comfort, I personally, if you compare this bike to, let's say, a Zamco or so, I would pick a Zamco or so over this. The reason being, in terms of comfort, is because this tank is a bit more slender. It's a bit more slender. So when you're sitting on the bike, your legs are locked to the tank, you feel like the bike is a bit smaller, and that's because the tank itself is a bit more slender. So if you look at the different tanks like a Rebel T tank, a Zamco tank, or some of the other bikes, you'll see that the tanks are a bit fatter. So it gives the bike a bit more broader image. But for this bike, the tank is very slim. So most of the times when you're sitting on the bike, you're sitting right here. You see me? And not in the middle, like right here. So this bike is pretty much stock. The only things that are additional on this bike are these screws here, and then you have the tray mud flap, and that is pretty much it. guys, so that basically summarizes the review of the 2024 Missile 250. If you guys have any comments, any questions, just drop them down in the comment section. Let me know what I go on. If you want to know anything when I not tell you, let me know what I go on and we can talk. Alright guys, enough love, enough respect. Comment, respect, share the video, subscribe and all of them things. You hear me? I'm out.